Jiri Prochazka, the #1 contender in the UFC light heavyweight division, just revealed that he has a fight announcement coming soon because he just signed the contract for his next fight in the UFC. Now, people are wondering who's it going to be. Well, it's really one option here, and that is Alex Pereira. He's not going to fight Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill is already fighting. Not going to fight Jan Blachowicz. Bro is still coming back from injury. He just beat Rakic. Nikita's coming off a crazy long layout. These guys already have fights or are on sabbatical, whatever the case may be with, Khalil Roundtree, that whole situation. So it's very clear to me it's Jiri Prochazka, Alex Pereira, and they're going to be doing a rematch sometime later this year. Now, I have information on when these two might be fighting because you might be saying, maybe it could be someone else. It's not anyone else. It is 100% Alex Pereira. Magomed Ankalaev is not getting the shot because, well, the man wanted UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. He wanted to wait that long to fight against Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira was ready to fight at UFC 301. He wanted to fight that early on if it wasn't for his foot. He would have fought Jiri on that card. Ankalaev's trying to wait around and fight really, really later on in the year in his home territory where Jiri is able to fight wherever he freaking wants. Now, when is it going to happen? It's going to happen. Jiri and Alex Pereira are next. When? I got inside information that's a little bit public, but it's not super public because it's not confirmed publicly. It's just what could be thought of publicly, and that is a main and co-main event stacked UFC 305 Perth card. And what I mean by stacked is Alex Pereira, Jiri Prochazka rematch in the main event or the co-main event, and then Israel Adesanya, Dricus du Plessis in the main events or in the co-main event. I don't know what their plan is. Some people are saying Alex Pereira is going to be main eventing over Dricus versus Adesanya. I don't know about that. I think it's very likely if they are on the same card, they might just put Adesanya Dricus above that because of the bad blood and things like that. Might be a more a bigger build-up because we already know, we've seen the fight with Jiri and Alex, so it's not going to be the crazy build-up that Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis could be as the main event. So I would assume, it's possible Alex versus Jiri could be the main event, but I would assume if they are on the same card together, Adesanya Dricus would probably headline that. Either way, it doesn't matter. You buy the pay-per-view, you'll get the fight, whether it's main or co-main, because so I really could care less which fight is the main, which fight is the co-main, but that is the first possibility. It's not, there's no way it's 303. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at UFC 304. That card is full, 2 title fights on it. It could be UFC 305. That's what we're learning right now. Could be the main or the co-main events with Adesanya and Dricus. It is not going to be UFC 306. I'm 100% on that as well, because we already know there's 2 key fights, similar situations to this, where you could kind of interchange them as main or co-main event for UFC 306, and a possible even third fight for UFC 306, as we are hearing it could be Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria as the main event. It could be Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili as the main event, and then Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso as the co-main event. Now, it could be all 3 of those title fights. It could be just 2 of those title fights. For all we know, maybe it's just 1 of those title fights. But I'm assuming for UFC 306, it is going to be at least 2 of those title fights. Leaving, no, it's not going to be Alex Pereira Jiri on that card. So right now, we are in between UFC 305 and the next card I'm going to talk to you about. Of course, UFC 308 is there. Only way that happens if it is going to be Magomed Ankalaev, which is not going to be. It is going to be against Jiri Prochazka, and Jiri and Alex want to stay active. So the other rumor we were hearing about that actually the UFC was looking at booking was Alex Pereira Jiri Prochazka in Salt Lake City, Utah, UFC 307, and that was going to be, I believe, beginning of October. but right around the same time as UFC 308. The reason I'm sort of starting to believe it's not going to be that date is because if it was UFC 307, both 307 and 308 are so close together, guys. 307 and 308 are like a few weeks in between each other. And at that point, everybody and their mom is going to be like, well, Magomed Ankalaev should probably get that. We want to see a new fight. Ankalaev's never lost recently in the UFC light heavyweight division. Of course, he got his title shot and got a draw with Jan Blachowicz, which, that's a little iffy on if he should deserve it off of a one-fight win streak. But he has never lost in that time period as well. So if it was 307 in Salt Lake City, Utah, there'd be a lot of people clamoring about, well, if it's that close together, why not just do UFC 308 versus Magomed Ankalaev? You got a freaking Dagestani, Russian type of guy. Why not just do it in Abu Dhabi? Considering Islam doesn't want it, considering Bilal, another guy that could be it, probably is going to lose to Leon Edwards. It'd be pretty hard to say for sure and get that fight with Magomed Ankalaev on that card as well, because if they're trying to do UFC 307, they'll just do Magomed Ankalaev for UFC 308. But I don't think they're gonna do that. If Jiri has the fight signed, it is Jiri versus Alex, and they're not doing Jiri versus Alex at 308. So it's between two cards: UFC 307 main event, co-main. I would assume probably a women's title fight, maybe like a flyweight title fight, something like that. I don't know what they're going to do for the co-main. Maybe they'll just do one title on that card, and I would be fine with that. But again, like I said, they probably just do Magomed versus Alex Pereira instead for a new and fresh matchup. So it is 307 or it is UFC 305, and the reason I was hearing 307 a lot early on in the negotiations when they were trying to talk about booking this fight, and 307 was their main focus point. Now I think it's starting to shift to UFC 305, and I do think they're gonna have those press conferences. The whole card in Perth is gonna be huge because there's gonna be Pereira there. There's going to be Adesanya there. There's going to be Dricus du Plessis there. All looking at each other, all mad at each other, all not really liking each other. And then Jiri, who's not going to be talking anything at all, just, yes, I come to get the knockout today. I tried my best to perform in the best way I can perform for the fans. And I like to... The first fight, I get knocked out, but my mind, I think the second fight will be very good, and I will win because I'm present. I'm here to win today, and I think Jiri is going to be doing that type of stuff. But Adesanya and Alex Pereira, they've been on a card together before, and that turned into pretty good stuff at the press conferences. Of course, Sean Strickland was there as well, so, but I think it's going to be 305. I'm set on that now. I'm thinking 85% it's going to be, and personally, I think it's going to be Adesanya Dricus as the main event. But, they could do... Alex is a pretty big star now, but I just think, just because they don't really know much English, it's going to be a much better build-up between Adesanya and du Plessis. So my prediction as of right now is going to be Adesanya Dricus main event, Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka as the co-main event. And if Alex Pereira wins against Jiri Prochazka in a similar fashion to their first fight and wins fairly easily, I think they turn around again and do Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 308. I think that's the best case scenario for the light heavyweight division, is that whole set of events happens where Pereira beats Jiri in the rematch on the same card as Adesanya. Because if Adesanya beats Dricus, maybe Adesanya starts clamoring about, I want to fight Pereira now. I want Pereira. Boom. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that could happen here. But number one thing here is, let's say Adesanya beats Dricus. Again, Adesanya doesn't deserve the shot. Let's see he beats Dricus. You could do Adesanya versus Strickland. Strickland's been training with Pereira. Pereira beats Jiri. Then he fights in Abu Dhabi, and he beats Magomed Ankalaev. Adesanya beats Dricus. Adesanya beats Sean Strickland in a rematch. And then you got another double champ fight. I know. You guys don't want to see a double champ fight. And obviously, if we're looking at the light heavyweight division, there's not much there. If all of the things I just said come true, he beats Jiri a second time. He beats Ankalaev. He's already beat Jamal. He's already beat Jan Blachowicz. Rakic is coming off a loss. There's nobody else for Pereira to fight. So if that does happen, and Adesanya somehow comes in there, beats Dricus, then fights another time, maybe at MSG, maybe on the December T-Mobile card, and beats a Sean Strickland or beats a Khamzat Chimaev, there's not much else you can do for Adesanya there. It's not like we need Adesanya to fight someone else. And Alex Pereira would have already cleaned out his light heavyweight division. I'm just imagining something here. It's a possibility. So we'll see if that possibility happens. I doubt it. I don't think Adesanya even beats Dricus. I think Pereira will beat both Magomed and Jiri Prochazka. I don't think Adesanya even gets past Dricus. But if he does, and they're on the same card, Pereira gets a knockout, Adesanya gets a knockout. It's a good build-up there. There's a good build-up there. What do y'all think? Fight sign for Jiri Prochazka. I think it's Alex Pereira. I think it's UFC 305. Could be 307. Like I said, if it was 307, why not just do Ankalaev at 308? So we'll see. 305 is going to be stacked. If all the things I just said come true, and we do get Adesanya on the card, Alex Pereira on the card, main and co-main event. I don't even care about the rest of that main card. That is an amazing main and co-main event. I hope that is the case, but maybe not, maybe so. We'll see. Predictions down below for both of those fights, and we'll see if what I said comes true. Thanks for watching, and click that pinned comment as well.